Hello, hello, hello. What's going on, traders? Hope y'all are having a wonderful Thursday. It's your boy, Z-Rex with no noise. We are coming at you live on a static video. I've just been having all kinds of technical issues this week. My computer crapped out yesterday. Had to spend a couple hours troubleshooting it, finally get it all working. And then now today my internet won't work. And I can't get less than 20-25% of drop frames, which ain't gonna work when you're trying to watch a video. That's way too much choppiness. So that kind of sucks. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm kind of running out of time for the day, so I got to just go ahead and get this static video out. Good old technology, right? But hey, whatever. It is what it is. This will be the backup. Let's just jump right into it. Total market cap on the BTCs and all cryptos chilling right above, hovering still on the 21 area. Nothing different about that from yesterday. Same here. Kind of just sandwiched between the 10 and the 21. Let's go to Bitcoin. Mama Bear kind of showing the same thing. It's pretty much the same chart considering Bitcoin's, 90 plus percent of the market or whatever. It's a big chunk of it. We're kind of consolidating right over this 48,000 level. Looks okay. As long as we're staying above this, we're all right. We're not out of the woods yet. Still got some work to do. We did try to get up over that 51.5 area today. Got another rejection, though. Bears are still dominant on the DMI on the 3 hour, so it is a little bit leaning to the bearish side. And we do have RSI starting to get back below the exponentials over here. So, and that candle closes in 42 minutes, so that won't be very good. It is holding up relatively well, though, considering the equities have been dumping really hard today. TNX going wild, yields, 10-year yields, that's what TNX is. We'll go look at that here in a little bit. VIX popping really hard. It's up 30-something% right now. So given that environment, it is pretty good to see Bitcoin holding up. We'll see if it can kind of hold up over here, this 48K level, which is very critical. Anything back below that probably is going to get us some downside, likely at least to this low here, and probably in between the 377 and 200. On the upside, though, again, we just got to close above that 41.5 on a 3 hour, and I think that will get us the momentum back to the upside. But you are seeing the exponentials start to curl back over to the downside, so the bears do have a little bit of bias here. So let's see, daily. Oh, and I was watching the video from yesterday, the fast one, and I noticed that I forgot to mention the upside. And I usually do like to mention both sides because I don't want to be biased to up or down, bear or bullish. And I just kind of talked about downside on that one, even though the chart is slightly bearish, but on the daily charts and up, it's not quite as bearish, and I didn't even outlay the upside. And do apologize for that. I don't want to be one-sided. But I did notice that I just was talking about mostly downside action. And I was kind of in a bad mood after getting all that stupid PC crap done and finally finished. So it's kind of funny that I was leaning towards just negativeness, which is generally bearish emotions. So, but it's all good. Trying to just acknowledge that and move on. So trying to always outlay both scenarios because we don't know which way it's going to go. But right now, it does look like we are getting some more follow through to the downside, especially if RSI starts to close back over here. Rejection from the mid zone of RSI around 50. So, yeah, bulls still got a lot of work to do on this chart, no doubt. So above 51.5 on a closing basis on the 3 hour probably gets us to test back up here in the mid 50,000s. Any closes back below in this 50, I would be very concerned about some pretty further downside. Let's see. Yeah, you've already got CMEs are already confirmed that this was just a little relief rally going right up into this dome on the Mama, which happens all the time. We were mentioning that the other day. So here we are. But we still are above 48, 49, this horizontal, so it's not terrible yet. Any closes back below this, again, 48.5 on the futures, 48,000 on spot price, I would start to get a little bit concerned about immediate further upside. Doesn't mean the macro is out of the bullish trend that it is in, which it most definitely is. There's no doubt about that. But we are just getting a little bit of pressure putting on the market on the lower time frames, lower medium time frames by the bears. Let's see, Ethereum rolling over as well. Come on, load up. There we go. In between the 200 and 377, so it's just ranging right now. Kind of same thing as yesterday's video, 1440-ish to the downside and about 1700 on the upside. Until then, it's just range bound and kind of boring. Actually, let's go to a daily real quick. So Ethereum, again, is weaker than Bitcoin. It's actually below the 21 EMA, and it's now, this is the third candle, unless it rallies really hard today and closes above 1700-ish. This will be the first time in this whole rally, literally all the way since $300 and something back in the fall, that we've prices stayed underneath the 21 EMA. So that is definitely noteworthy. I guess you might have a little bit over here, which is still in the fall. No, it didn't. It closed right above it. So you didn't even have it right there in that blip. So this might be a change of behavior. Ethereum has led the market before. You do have this little spinny top right here at the target around 2K. Big resistance level there too, psychologically. Yeah, this is starting to build some bearishness for sure. So daily is still very dominant on daily bears, that is, are still very dominant on DMI. So there is some very serious pressure on Ethereum. Litecoin says, F you guys, I'm going to rally a little bit on this. It's actually up 6% on the day. Pretty funny. It's also below its 21, but it's super sandwiched between this really important 175-ish level and then also the daily 21 at about 195. So kind of range bound, but still looks okay as long as it's above this horizontal, not as ugly as Ethereum. And yes, it is below the 21 as we just discussed, but Litecoin is a little bit crazier and we'll do that a bunch of times. The 55 is a little bit more like the threshold for Litecoin on a daily versus 21 on Ethereum. So you can see it doesn't live below the 55 in the rallies very often. Only one little blip here. And I guess one little wick or tail here, but that's about it. But this looks okay as long as it's above 175. Not too shabby. Let's see here. What do we have this on here for? Let's get rid of this stupid trend line. That don't matter. Yeah, kind of curling over. EMA is all pointing down. The only thing saving this is this trend line and the demand right here from the 377 and this candle that kind of bid it up. So anything back below 43 cents, I'd start to get pretty concerned on XRP. Yeah, this looks pretty bad, kind of just like drifting down here. This is not a great chart. Anything back to the upside above 50 cents, though, probably gives a little relief rally, but sub 50 cents, this looks pretty bad. DOT, same thing. Lots of overhead resistance around $35, $36. You do have the long-term EMAs coming up on this right here. So maybe it gets bid up. We are still above the 21, but we're kind of breaking this intermediate trend line today. Anything back below 30 bucks, I'd be a little bit concerned on this guy. And to the upside, we need to really clear back above $36 to maybe get back up here around 40 and retest the highs. Otherwise, we probably will come back and test this consolidation zone in line with the 200 MA link. Almost just like Dot's chart, same kind of deal. Although a little weaker because we're already way down by the longer term moving averages. So it is a little bit weaker than Dot. Kind of looking a little like Ethereum. We did have a little blip here. Yeah, this kind of looks like it might want to test these lows here again at like $20. So Link, not looking too hot. Range bound though to the upside, $29. Probably gets us out of this consolidation zone and gives us a little bit more bull boner bias. But to the downside, anything back below this cluster here at about $25, I'd start to be pretty concerned. ADA is actually defying all of this and looks pretty damn good. You have a reset on the EMAs right here. They're in chronological order. It'd be real nice to see this just stay above $1.05 for the next day here into the night, into the early morning session. That would be nice. Give time for all these EMAs to cross back over the mama. That's the only thing. It's like almost there, but this is building pretty nice. Like anything above $1 on ADA looks really good. Just riding that 10 simple all the way up here. Looks super sexy on that. So Charles is saying, what's up, bitches? I got this. Anything back below $1, though, probably gets us to the mid-80s. And anything above 115, we're blue sky breaking out. So we can pretty much do 120, 130, 150. All the whole numbers are going to be your targets. I mean, this is really in just super bull mode right now. So $1 and 115 is the range. Ooh, this looks really weak. Looks like we just had a little reset here. We're getting rejected from the neutral zone. Yeah, this actually looks like it wants continuation to the downside. Anything back over 560 probably will negate that. Anything below 505, 510 reignites the bears, and we're probably looking for a run into the low 400s. I'll zoom out a little bit. Yeah, to maybe test this wick again, possibly, if we do close below there. So about 510 to the downside and 560 on the upside. BSV, same kind of thing. It's below all of its MAs, though. Every single one of them. Bounced off this trend line. That's the best thing it did. Let's look at DMI. Bulls are trying to come in and get in. They're in the neutral zone now, so they're working decently hard. Bears are still dominant, though. Let's zoom out. So, yeah, it's because there's just a shit ton of support here on the daily between 175 and 185. Anything back below 175, this thing's probably going to do a quick stab to like 160-ish. Then we'll have to see what happens there because there's major business done in the 160 handle. So, not out of the woodworks yet. Again, bulls got a lot of work to do in a lot of these charts. Anything back above this 210, 207 level, really all these EMAs that are spaghettied out, really needs to get back above 210 in this wick here. Anything back below, though, like 185 and, man, 175 sub that. Watch out for the 160s, possibly even like 150 on that guy. EOS, and these are all the same charts pretty much. Kind of rolling over, resetting. Yeah, we don't want to see this start taking off again and the DMI bulls get pushed down while the bears just hold in the power zone. We don't want to see that. Any price above 420-ish on this probably gets us another test up to the upper 4 handle. But yeah, anything closed back below like 350-ish, this is going to get pretty ugly. Let's look at a daily. Yeah, living below the 21, but being caught right here on this previous local high. So yeah, again, that 350 zone, very important here. So yeah, 350 back below that, it probably goes swiftly down to the $2 handle. So that's a pretty big move. I mean, that's another 30% from here. Same kind of chart, these little kind of almost H patterns. You don't want these to play out. H patterns are very bearish if they do play out. Again, we've talked about them a lot. The cool thing about them is we know if it still has a lot of work to do, but just for reference, they get negated very quickly. That's what's cool about them. So as soon as you get any kind of price action doing this past it, then it's negated. It's over. It has to follow through like pretty much. You can maybe get a little bit, but it needs to follow through pretty much immediately after that and have continuation. Yeah, if there's any kind of rally off this and it makes it like that, then it is negated. So that's kind of odd. We're seeing a lot of those types of charts on the medium time frames. A lot of support, so bulls need to step in fairly quickly on the crypto markets to negate some pretty large moves to the downside. Zcash actually looks like it might do it. DMI is neutral now. Bears or neutral, I should say. It's not neutral overall. Bulls still need to get out of the weak zone. Trying to get back above this trend line here. So this one actually looks better than most of the other coins we've looked at. Just barely, though. It's not nothing to get excited about. Still, the EMAs are very much structured the same as the other ones. Kind of coming down here, sloppy as hell, while the longer term EMAs are putting that pressure on them. You can see it riding up this 200 MA. So anything back below this trend line here is probably going to spell disaster on Zcash and probably get us to test back to the $100 to $90 level. Anything though back above 143, 140, and especially above the mama or the 55 exponential, this orange line here, probably gets us back up into the 160, 170 area. So Zcash looking a little, like slightly better than the other guys. This one not looking great, opening down. EMA's just kind of putting that pressure on price. Bear still dominant on DMI. This one's still pretty bearish below 270. Anything above 270 though, reignites bulls. Anything sub 210 on this probably gets us into between this range here, between 150 and 190. So that's a 20-30% move to the downside. Again, bulls got some work to do. So we did have a nice rally on Dogecoin here. Gave most of it all up. We're already back below that 110. So this is not that great for the doggy. I really wanted to see that just get some continuation. It doesn't look like we're going to get it. Let's go to the dollar. Yeah, kind of rolling back over on the dollar too, and DMI is super neutral. RSI is also pretty neutral now, just hanging out around the 50 area with about to get a slight bearish tick on this close here in 27 minutes. Really got to get back over 5.5 cents to get kind of excited about this. Otherwise, this looks kind of bad. Yeah, anything sub 4.8 cents, I'd look for a pretty quick stab down to 3.5. Maybe it could be a little bit looser and like do 4.3 cents, but 4.8 probably doesn't. ES, let's go over to ES. Monkey hammered today after looking so good yesterday. Not so much ES, but Dow definitely, which we'll look at it here in a second. I mean, this is a gnarly candle. This is like one of the ugliest candles we've seen in a while. It's almost, it's actually exactly like this one, 256 right now, 256. So we have seen them a few times. The last one maybe, there's a 3.5-er. So it's been a while. This is about January, late January, about a month ago. So we'll see if it gets bid up right around here. Lots of support around 37.70-ish. So it's not super ugly yet, but it is starting to look a little bit gnarly. I mean, this is a pretty swift rejection of this rally yesterday. And that's probably the pressure from the TNX, which we've been talking about, the 10-year yield. If that kept rallying, that was likely going to put some pressure on equities. Nasdaq looks pretty gnarly, although it really does need to take out this 12.7 area to get bears really excited. It does that, we probably will test in this range here, somewhere around upper 11,000s. But yeah, the Nasdaq actually does look pretty damn gnarly, and it's been bearish as hell on the 3-hour DMI actually all the way since up here. And it did it at the same time, which we do not see often. We've talked about that a little bit. DMI and RSI went bearish on the same candle. That is very rare, and that is very strong too when that happens. Anything price staying below that body pretty much means the rally is iced, or conversely, if it was the bulls doing that, the sell-off is kind of iced up. So you can see we did get follow through on that, looking pretty gnarly. Let's go weekly. Yeah, weekly, if we close like this is actually going to be pretty nasty. We do have one more day, though, and a lot can happen in a day. I mean, just think about it. Yesterday, RUT was up 2.5. Today, it's down 3.6%. Holy moly. Wow, we're about to get to that one. The RUT just total murder fest along with the NQ. This is pretty ugly. This super bullish candle yesterday, this was really nice, but this followed by it is very ugly. It's about to engulf the prior couple weeks of business. And if we get closes on the lows today, which we haven't seen close on the lows on indices for a while, they generally get bid up or kind of come back a little bit towards the end of the day. But here we are, only 20 minutes left of the day, and it looks like we actually are going to close on those lows. Major support, though, still at that 31.2, 31.1 area. So it could get bid back up, but this is a pretty gnarly candle on the Dow. Weekly is actually setting up, too, on a little rejection hammer here. Yeah, this is pretty nasty, just right back into the range. So a little pump and dump here, like a shitcoin. Pretty surprising. All right, Russell just giving it up. Russell is brutal today, down almost 4% on the day. A little bit of a surprise, neutral on the DMI still. 3 hour, just brutal selling since early this morning. Just dump every single candle. If the daily closes like this on the lows, which looks pretty likely, we're going to have to do a pretty substantial rally for the end of the day for this to turn around. But this is going to be pretty bearish on Russell. This is engulfing the last almost whole month of business. Like 3 weeks-ish, I guess. But yeah, this is a pretty gnarly candle. Again, though, can't really get super bearish until it gets back below 2160. And you can see this wick right here confirm that for us. So yeah, it looks ugly, but we really need more downside to get that follow through. Let's see. But to be fair, this does look nasty. Like, this does look really bad. VIX popping hard today, up 44% now, up on the highs of the day. Just rally. Big move in VIX. The market does not like this TNX move at all. This is pretty big action. You can see this engulfing candle early this morning. Took out all the EMAs and just had follow through all the way. Man, yeah, this is, I mean, I guess that's what you get when you get a 2-3% down move and 4% on some of the other majors. Bouncing real hard off this low area, this support area around 110, 109-ish. Bouncing super hard on the VVIX volatility, on the volatility. Let's zoom in a little bit. Kind of same structure, opening the day with this candle, closing it all through the EMAs, through every single one, and getting continuation. So maybe volatility is here to stay for a little bit. Oil, though, does not seem to give a shit. It's just rallying up. Kind of consolidating a little bit, though. So we do have a little mini range on the short-term time frames. Anything back below like 62.5 probably gets us down to 61. And anything back above 63.8 or so will continue this rally. And it does look like it wants to just kind of come up here and test this trend line in the lower 70s. I'd be a little surprised if it doesn't make it there. It does look really good. Bonds, just absolute murder fest. They can't get no love at all. Just dumping into the abyss. I mean, this is a brutal move in bonds. You can see that they did come to test. I have this orange arrow here. I was showing someone earlier. They did come to test the exact breakout zone all the way back here and early in the year. Early last year. So that is interesting. A nice, good textbook breakout from all the EMAs going up, chronological order like we like to see. Hits the target. This red box actually consolidates in the target, and then just went bananas during the coronavirus crash. So it is interesting that we did stop right there and got bid up pretty hard off that low. Anything back below this wick at about 157.23. Then, yeah, this thing probably goes to this trend line further into the abyss. But this might be a little bit of capitulation on the bonds. We are very deep in RSI, very aggressive, too, on this slope, all the way down to about 14.5. So it hasn't been down there in a long time. Actually, on a daily, not since back over here. Which, to be fair, only gave a relief rally. Let's see, let me double check. Yeah, which, to be fair, only gave relief. Actually had further downside on it. Only to get kind of a range. Had a tiny little baby rally and ended up rolling over more. So bonds are super bearish right now. Same with notes. This is the 10-year. Just dumping out. Like, this is crazy dumpage. And that's going to coincide nicely with this pump. We've been watching and saying, watch out. If this keeps going up, it's going to put pressure on equities. We did get that follow through. And, I mean, this is a crazy move. I mean, this is super wild for yields to be moving this aggressively. Major resistance, obviously, around this 1.7-ish area, 1.7 to 1.9. A lot of overhead supply there. We did hit 1.6 earlier. We'll see if this sustains or if this was kind of the capitulation to the upside. It still looks super bullish, though. There's no doubt about it. Dixie just chilling. Not doing shit, which is surprising. Just basing on this bottom. It will break out of this range eventually. Generally, it does spend a few months down here going back into history. We've talked about this a lot. So I think we are at about almost 3 months. So we're almost at the few month mark. This probably will get resolved here in the by this quarter, I would guess. I'd be surprised if it took longer. Oh, look at this. Zooming in. Came down to this trend line that it's broken out, respected. This trend line goes way back all the way to March, the Corona crash. So it did come back down to it, test it, rallied really hard off of it. So, yeah, I'm really looking for this to finally break out of this range here in the next few weeks. Shanghai's still holding up, so that's, I guess, kind of good for the markets. Anything still above riding this trend line? No problems on that. Gold, monkey hammered. Gold's just getting murdered. It can't get no love. It's been bearish as hell, though, since January 8th. The bears have been in control since this candle. Attempted to get over this horizontal we've been watching at about 1870s. Rejection, rolled over. This doesn't look really good. The best thing about this is you do have the 377 coming up, putting that pressure, applying some demand pressure on these lows. So maybe if it does break here, we just did a little quick blip to like 1700-ish and then get bid off hard on that. But bulls got a lot of work to do here, just like in crypto. Silver rolling over a little bit. Not a great candle for silver. It's still okay, though. A little bit neutral on the DMI. Just riding this trend line. I'm sticking with that trading plan right now. Until this trend line breaks, I'm not really too concerned about further downside on silver. The weekly still looks good. The monthly still looks good. The 3 hour is starting to look a little bit sick, but it's still neutral, to be fair, on DMI. So I'm really just watching the trend line on this guy. Platinum actually kind of rolling over. This kind of looks a little bit distribution-y now. Maybe it's had its little run for a second. Needs a little breather. Comes back down to this trend line. That would be very nice. I'd like a re-entry on some platinum action. And the 10 simples all the way down there to 1135. Anything back below this 1215 area probably gets us into this range between 11 and like the 1100 handle in general. Anything back above 1275, though, we probably get continuation on this guy. All right, let's go look at coin checkup real quick just to see. 1.5 trillion, dominance flat. That's all flat. Any big movers? Matic, Engine Coin said, what's up? Phantom yesterday just blowing the freaking roof off. Let's go look at just a couple and then be done with this because I need to go do some management on my positions. Yeah, Matic just says, what sell off? I don't care about selling off. Yeah, I mean, this looks really good still. Nothing wrong with this. EMA's reset, opening back up to the upside. I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with this as long as it stays above about 17 cents. This is bullish as hell. We can erase this. It broke that, consolidated, did it again, consolidated one more time, retest this support zone. I mean, this is pretty sexy. Wow, this is all just in one day. Holy moly, or a couple of days. Yeah, so Matic defying any kinds of sell-offs. Let's go to Engine Coin. Engine, nice dump. Yeah, not as great as Matic. Really got to clear that 66 cent level. And then we're blue skying again. So then that would be nice. Oh, daily. Yeah, I mean, this actually looks pretty decent on the daily. Need a little more time to. These oscillators are almost about to reset in a real nice fashion. Anything holding above 50 cents we'll do that, and we'll set this up for a pretty nice long. And then the only thing we want to look for is, oh, it's actually already there. It didn't look like it was on the zoomed out. Wait, hold up. Why didn't that do that? I guess you gotta, I don't know why that's not printing. Oh, there it goes. I guess you gotta push the right buttons. Oh, yeah, so you actually already do have it, man. Yeah, so this staying above 50 cents, this actually looks pretty good. Engine Coin. Nice. Nice job, Engine. And Cardano, we already did that one. Qtum actually looking okay. Oh, excuse me. Let's go to Qtum. Cutie. No, not near as good. This looks more like all the other shit coins right now. Still got some work to do. Anything back above 580, $6. Probably gets continuation. Back below this horizontal though, at $5, I would look for way lower lows on this. Probably down into the $3 range on that guy. So better hold 5. Oh, let's see what else. Let's just look at this FTM one because it has just been tearing people's face off. Look at this on the daily. I mean, this is brutal, dude. Brutal runs. It's up 4,400% just this last month. Wow. Just wow. I know we had looked at this a long time ago too, but it's really hard to buy stuff when it does this. But when you get this drift up after rallying hard, this is usually pretty bullish. Just rides up the EMAs, regains RSI strength right here on this candle, and just off to the moon again. I mean, this is just bananas here. It's just kind of up until it ain't. And you have to use, man, it's so far away from its 50% away from its short-term moving averages. That's a little bit concerning. Anything back below, if you just get a few candles closing below the, which you probably won't get because it's like already super frothy, but if you do and it's nice and the market wants to be nice to you and it gets 3 candles kind of below the 21 exponential, I'd start to look for a pretty swift retracement on this. But keeping it simple, horizontal, anything back below like 55 cents, this probably gets pretty gnarly. Maybe you can use 50 cents even if you want to be a little bit looser on that. But yeah, this is just crazy bananas on that move. All right, well, I think that'll wrap it up. Let's do final thoughts. BTC, let's go back over there. Getting that pressure, still continuing. The market's just, rallies pretty hard off the equities. So that's nice. They're not down 4% anymore. Let's go look at that. Look at that getting bid up hard. Although still bearish as hell, though. This is just crazy moves, man. Sorry, I digress. Got distracted there. Bitcoin starting to kind of follow with the markets. It's just same thing. 48K. It needs to hold 48K. Any moves back below 48K, I do think we start testing lows, probably down to the lower 40,000 area. But definitely, if we do get 48K and get back in this range from 43 to 48, maybe we get lucky and just go sideways there and consolidate and maybe continue upwards like so. That would be the best case scenario, I believe. But yeah, right here, anything back above a day, we need that closure on the 3 hour above 51.5 to get the bull boner excited again. And that would probably lead us up into the mid 50,000 range. And again, anything sub 48K, watch out. Ethereum is the one that looks real sick though. On the daily is my biggest concern, and the RSI. or I'm sorry, the DMI is dominant on the daily structure or daily time frame, which is a very significant time frame. It has not been above it since back over here for a couple of blips in September, and this one is way more dominant than that one. So, yeah, not very nice, not very sexy. So it's been a hot minute. What is that, 6 months or something almost, since we've had some kind of a weakness like this in Ethereum. So this is very noteworthy. Price is telling us to be a little bit cautious here. I mean, look at this. We are off 25-ish% from the highs. So Bitcoin and Ethereum do that a lot, though. So that 20 to 35-ish% pullbacks from highs is pretty normal. But this starting to accept price lower, and we do not want to see DMI continue having its dominance on the daily by any means. So this is range bound between the long-term moving averages. Anything below 1700, don't really care about longs. Also don't really care about shorts or de-risking too much unless it gets back below 1440-ish, 1450. So we're just in this little tight range right now, and we just got to wait and see. We do have a little bit of concern on the RSI if this does start to regain the negative posturing underneath the EMA on the RSI. So that might be bad. DMI still looks bad, but keeping it simple, 1700, 1450, 1440-ish. All right, guys, much love, peace. I will see y'all tomorrow. Sorry about the live stream thing. I don't know what it is. I can't get no love, but it is what it is. Happy trading, all that stuff. Peace.